I've been looking for this obscure book for a long time. I found the reference in the back of another book I got at a used bookstore a long time ago. The reference described this as dangerous metaphysical secrets that ancient governments have continually suppressed throughout the ages. It only had that blurb, a title, and a publisher. I could only find a couple references to it online, and both wanted a lot of money and no refunds. The cheapest price I could find was $1,500. But you never know with used books. They could be really expensive because of the content, or they could be really expensive simply because they're so rare. I decided to head down to my local library, but not because I thought I'd find it there. I figured library people would be better at tracking down old and rare used books. She told me that they did have it at this reading room at a local business college about 20 miles away. One of those rooms where they let you read the books but not take them home. When I was walking in, I noticed this woman putting up flyers about an open talk about societies as organisms. It was being given by an author that I've heard of, but I haven't read. The theory is old, but not popular. It avoids the common view that history can be seen through the decisions of influential people. We like that theory because that allows us to believe that one day we can become influential people. If you wanted to figure out how an unknown system works, the best way would be to come up with a mathematical model. Then you see how close your mathematical model can predict the actual behaviors of the unknown system. If you are close, you keep tweaking your model. If you are wrong, you toss your model and you come up with a new one. My favorite all-time example of this is the discovery of quantum physics. It involved trying to come up with various mathematical models to describe something called black body radiation. There's a common desire, especially in modern times, to try to come up with the purpose of life. You'll find plenty of people who like to say what we as humans are supposed to do. Like some people will say we are supposed to reproduce, or we are supposed to give glory to God, or we are supposed to be good citizens and follow the laws. One anthropologist had a theory that we aren't really supposed to do anything. Rather, we are unconsciously driven to take the ideas in our mind and try to transform them into real things in the real physical world. That only seems confusing today because everything is so easy. The acquisition of needed calories and other things we need to keep ourselves safe was made very easy to create after the Industrial Revolution. But before that, getting our needs met was a constant worry, a constant struggle. But in only a few hundred years, we've gone from not being sure we are going to get our daily calories to stay alive to believing that the things we need are a fundamental human right. One model of the human brain is as an intention creator. We have an intention in mind, and our brains, our sensing and measuring capabilities served with our physical behaviors, serve as a means to an end. To keep trying different things to get closer and closer to the thing we have in mind. To be able to measure the results we're getting to see if we are getting closer. So that we can keep doing more of what works and do less of what's not working. Our mind-body system is most on purpose when we are actively pursuing a very strong desire. Up until the last couple hundred years ago, that strong desire was always related to our survival. We were always worried about being able to create more wealth. We were always worried about being able to keep your family safe. We were always worried about being able to save surplus wealth. That drive led us to keep being able to invent new things that would make it even easier to create wealth, new things that would make it even easier to stay safe. Only in the last couple hundred years, we've been so successful that we can sit around today and only dream about things without really feeling a need to turn those things from the realm of thought into the realm of things. His idea is that our main purpose is to continue to imagine things and then spend your time taking those imagined things and trying to turn them into real things. That even if you only have a 10% success rate, even if you only take 1 out of 10 things from inside your brain and make it become a real thing in the real world, you're doing very, very well. It's hard to imagine that today when we are being continually blasted with ideas about instant gratification for everything, when our attention spans are continuously and purposely being obliterated. Einstein, Bohr, and a couple of other super geniuses kept trying to come up with different mathematical models to describe this black body radiation, but they kept being wrong. Then Max Planck came up with a very simple idea. His simple idea was that energy is a countable noun, a discrete entity. Up until that point in history, they figured energy was an uncountable noun, but that small idea, that small shift, changed everything. The lecturer's idea was very similar to an old expression that goes, "Maps, not chaps, explains history." This basically means that geography is a much more driving force in human history than any individual person. The latest author to write about this was Jared Diamond, who wrote Guns, Germs, and Steel. After the lecture, I went to the reading room. When I leave my house, I usually don't take my device. I like to keep my brain unfettered by the temptation to continuously check my device. But on that particular day, I wish I'd brought it. I wanted to take pictures of the books they had in that reading room. Not only did they have the book that I was looking for, but they had many other very interesting and fascinating books. And in these books are very interesting information. In these books are ideas that I can't wait to try. In these books are things I didn't think were possible. Things that have sent my mind spinning in all kinds of directions.